You're listening to Until They Sleep, a podcast where two parents finally get to sit down and discuss all the different things that run through their heads every day because their four kids are finally asleep. Thanks for listening. Please note that we will be discussing explicit information about experiences of menstruation. And welcome back to Until They Sleep. Thank you for joining us again. I am Shantelle, and I'm joined by my husband, Daniel.
Hola.
You were talking to me the other day about the movie Turning Red. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was talking about that.
Yeah.
So how can I say this? I saw it once before. I guess when I first came out with the kids.
But you weren't paying attention.
But I was kind of like not putting attention. I was just like, oh, it's a movie. Okay. They turned into pandas. And it's been out for a while. So I've seen all these memes and videos, and I've heard people talk about it and kind of curious to watch it again. But the baby, she wanted to watch it. And I'm wondering, is it really what people are saying? Or are they just trying to overanalyze everything like they usually do and try to ruin something for kids?
From the many times I've seen Turning Red at this point because of our daughters and everything that people have talked about, it is about puberty and starting that emotional roller coaster that is puberty for especially for girls.
So right. So on that aspect, right? Well, so I'm a guy. So obviously I'm kind of pretty oblivious to it. I'm not, picking up everything that's being thrown in there. Like, I get it as a joke, but I kind of disagree with it because, like, the mom hints about, like, changes that are coming, why is she being a certain way, and then she's like, oh, could it be, oh, too soon, and even the dad's like, oh, goodness, okay, so it's here, and, the mom goes to the school, and they talk about, periods and everything. But
the menstrual cycle, honey. The menstrual cycle.
But it's a period. And then at the end of it,
a period is at the end of a sentence.
English doesn't make sense, so it's one of those many other things. No, it's because when women are on their menstrual cycle, according to you, everything they say has to have a period, and that's it. No buts, no
I thought
ifs.
it had exclamations.
Okay, la
because they're super emotional.
Are they? I don't know.
You don't know?
I used to believe it, but I've been around so many women in my life that I just can't say it's always like that for everyone.
No, I agree.
So yeah. That's
well, I mean,
so
but why is this coming up for you?
Well, because I have two little girls that are watching this cartoon, and I just feel like, are they really ruined this for, like, and they ruined it for me in another aspect too. There's a guy that I always see like on Instagram that pops up on my feed, and he's like, I've never noticed this until now, and it's been so many years and whatever. And he was talking about that Boo is that little friend with the overalls that has the flowers just like Boo's door.
Yeah, again, that's overreaching.
And it looks like her.
Oh my
like
gosh,
if
it
was
does
grown
not.
Up. No, it does.
Like
because when I was seeing it, I was like, oh, I see it. But then I'm like, what? There's the same company. They have to have like Easter eggs and things that look alike and things that are connected. Like.
Wasn't one of the connections they were trying to make is that Tarzan was Elsa and Anna's brother?
Well, they were trying to connect that.
Yeah, and Rapunzel is also related to them. That's why she's at their wedding.
Well, no, she's royalty, and she's one of the people that come to the.
Yeah, but they were trying to say that she's related to them.
Oh, I never heard that.
Yeah, I've heard that one. And then there's a bunch of other movies.
She's in there. You see it. Like once they point it out, but that's like an Easter egg to me.
Yeah.
It's kind of like on Stranger Things, where the Beetlejuice grave was there.
Yeah.
And it's like that's not.
Doesn't mean it's the same.
Yeah, she's the actress that was in it, but like she was in Beetlejuice, cool. But now she's in another show, and it's all 80s thing, and
so it's just like something fun for people who are paying attention. Yeah, but as far as Red Panda and the Turning Red thing, it is about young girls coming into this puberty stage.
Yeah, I just kind of like. Whatever happened to just watching a movie and enjoying it, and that's that? Like, why does everything have to be overanalyzed and ruined for people?
I think that's just the life we live right now. Like, everyone has to find fault in everything. It's not like you can't just, like, we've watched it, and we've watched lots of movies with the kids that people would probably say we shouldn't be watching with the kids because they're not emotionally mature to handle it. It's like, maybe your kids aren't emotionally mature to handle it, but we talk to our kids.
But that's funny, right? Because those are the same people that watch shit that they weren't supposed to be watching when they were kids.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, come on. The Simpsons were such a big deal.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure, like, there's a reason they were a big deal, and everybody watched that.
I didn't watch
no, but, you know, you were different. We all know that you I
don't count.
You were in a cult and you lived under the rock. So that's different for you guys.
But I'm not like everybody. I don't think like everybody else. I don't swear like everybody else. I don't do a lot of things that you don't like in women because I would lived under that rock.
Oh, cálmate. You're not that freaking perfect.
I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I'm just saying there's a lot of things I didn't do. That I think
there's other shit you did that still,
but I mean, I'm just saying you want to make fun of me living under my rock. And
but yours is different though. Like the Simpsons were something that like a lot of the church people were against, you know, because they made fun of that Flanders and you know, like the way that they handle things and the jokes, and they're like, oh no, this is not right. So, but see, that was more of like and that's what makes me laugh. We had all this like rude and crude stuff when we were growing up, like in the 90s. We had all this advanced stuff, and now it's like now everything's being overanalyzed, but they forget about what the shit that we watched growing up. You know,
I don't know. We've seen a lot of shows on TV pop up that are as bad, if not worse, than some of the stuff we saw as kids.
Yeah, but we covered this before. Those shows are on like pay. You pay to watch those.
Yeah. But the point being that I don't think it's any better. You know, it's just a matter of, like you were saying, people are complaining more. Like more because maybe more people have access to these things now. Now more people, because of the internet, because of social media.
Yeah, but
people can point it out more.
Like, so as kids, we watch shows and TV, cartoon and whatever not, and there's a lot of shit that we didn't understand.
But did your parents watch these things with you?
Are you kidding me? My dad saw Hee Haw all the time, and I was around. And Benny Hill, like that was like shit that we watched.
No. I'm talking about The Simpsons or South Park. Would your dad watch that with you?
No, my dad didn't watch that with me.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
my dad was already asleep by the time that came on.
Because our generation is the one that grew up with those shows.
But that's what I'm getting at. Like, if you let me finish, like I can tell you that it's like where I'm getting at is that we watched a lot of that stuff, not realizing what we were watching. We were just kids. We were entertained. We were watching stuff, right? And then there was stuff. I mean, and The Simpsons' ongoing joke was that cat and that rat, right? And what's the equivalent of that was Tom and Jerry, and it was the same thing. It was slapstick comedy, but because they showed a little bit more blood or muscle tissue or whatever, people had an issue with it. Oh, kids shouldn't be watching that. But we're like, but we've grown up with the Three Stooges, and we've grown up with Tom and Jerry and Bugs Bunny, and it's the same thing. People are getting hit in the head with, we're seeing people getting hit with hammers, and anvils are falling in their heads, and you know what I mean? Like trains are running them over.
And I understand all that.
But see, this is how stupid shit got, because eventually they had to say, these cartoons for entertaining purposes, please do not
actually do this.
Yeah, right?
I remember those warnings.
That happened. Yeah, when we were already like in high school, we started seeing these warnings.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what I'm seeing. Like, we were kids, we watched the stuff, we enjoyed it, and there was nobody there trying to ruin it to us. Like being, so right there, that joke was sexual. You should, you wouldn't get it. But you're opening my eyes to something sooner. But as a kid, you're just watching like whatever. But then you're grown up. You look back into it. It's like, holy crap!
You mean like the music? Remember,
the music. Music's one of them. Yeah, but it was like Three's Company. That's just a joke. It was like one guy living with two girls. Like, come on, we know what was going on. Come on.
But when you were a kid, you didn't think about it that way, and they didn't.
I did.
Well, okay. Again,
I always wondered which one.
So again, it never crossed my mind. Okay, so raised different, raised to think differently. So there it is. But I thought this was about the whole turning red.
Well, exactly.
So
that was just an example. So people, I just think it was just a cartoon. It gets covered. The whole having a menstrual period comes up. And then it goes away when she turns into a panda. And then the family's like, oh, crap. She turned into a panda. It was unexpected. Like, this is a family curse. And then they cover that. Before that, they were making it seem like it was like, she was becoming a woman. And then until she turns into a panda. So then it's a panda. I don't see how they went side by side to it.
Okay, so the panda, my understanding is that the panda represents the emotion, like when they're on their menstrual cycle, like what PMS.
Okay, so
from PMS time and during the menstrual period, they are being a different version of themselves. And like for the mom, right? The mom was like the worst, right? She had the biggest emotions. She had the biggest outbursts when she was on her menstrual cycle till she learned to control it. As an adult, she had to control it. And all the women in their family.
If you accept the panda being representing that, right? But if you're just thinking about the panda being a panda and it's a family curse.
Yes. And that's a different aspect of it. So if you're with your kids and you're just watching this and you're not thinking about that whole menstrual cycle aspect, yeah. It's just a little girl whose family's cursed by turning into red pandas.
So you're saying that they subliminally kind of like messaged it, covered it up like that?
I'm not saying it was subliminally. It's literally covered. Like,
no,
the mom automatically assumes
that it was her period.
That it's her period.
Right.
And
she goes to the school.
She goes
and she takes
through the
maxi
whole.
pads.
So clearly, she's never had it before.
Yeah.
And she's now 13.
Okay. So, but she's taking this, like, thinking it was that.
Yes.
But it wasn't. It was the fact that she turned into a panda.
She turned into a panda, which is the emotions, the PMS portion of going crazy.
I know they hinted it because I figured like, okay, you start hinting it because she's drawing this guy that she thought was gross or whatever, and then all of a sudden she's like starts having like this emotion and this rush,
lustful,
and her cheeks are turning red, and she starts sweating, and she's like, oh my goodness, what's going on?
So
and she
that's
starts
all part of puberty.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, at that moment because I was already planted in my head, right? So I was like, okay, oh crap, it does make sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then she talks back to her mom and she screams and she's throwing that thing out. And even the mom was like, what? Like, you don't talk to me like that. And then that's when they were like, oh, it's here. Like, it happened.
Mm-hmm.
But then you're saying that they were just trying to talk about the subject, but they covered it by bringing out a red panda.
Yes.
At the same time.
Yes.
So everything prior to that was the beginnings of it. The emotions, the roller coaster, the feelings, the anger, the exploration of getting to know yourself, like lust or whatever, or passion, and then
these out of nowhere emotions.
So every time she turned into a panda is when she's like leaking.
I haven't read the specifics on that.
I need to finish watching this movie because I had to go to work and I finished, but I want to see if it lasted 7 days.
No, it doesn't. She can actually control the panda, which is controlling her emotions. So, like, at the end of the movie, she leaves with her mom's given her permission to go with her friends, and she has a tail when she's leaving, and she goes, her panda, her choice, or something like that. She's having an emotional reaction to her mom about her mom trying to control something that she's about to do.
That, that's just kind of fucked up to start kind of planting those seeds on kids already.
Well, okay, so there is controversy on that. There was, and maybe still is, a lot of controversy on the fact that there's people who do not agree that this movie should be seen by young children.
So this is all part of their woke agenda that Disney's been doing?
I don't think that it's woke. I don't know. I like the movie because I think there's a lot of, like, no one talked to me about it. My parents never talked to me about that coming. And when I got it, I was crying and I was scared and I didn't know what to do. It's gotta be hard,
right? I mean, as a parent, no girl ever gets to like, oh, you're 14, you're gonna get, every girl at 14 gets it. No, because I've heard about girls getting it at 10.
I was 10.
Yeah, I've heard about girls getting it at 10. I think I've had a niece or something that got it like at 8.
Oh yeah, that's really young. I got mine at 10, and it was the worst experience. Because
did your mom show up to the school with the Maxi Pad?
You know what this is. You know the story.
No, because that's what happened in the movie.
Well, okay. For me, I got my menstrual cycle for the first time.
Why can't you say period?
Because to me, it's period goes at the end of a sentence.
I know, Mom. In Spanish, it's called the regla. It's a ruler. Like, really? Like, me bajó la regla. It was like, oh, my ruler is here.
Yeah, I'm in my days.
See, that's more confusing because I remember being a kid and hearing, oh, la regla. And I was like, well, what?
The ruler?
You want me to go get you a ruler? Well, you need a ruler? Like,
why do they have to be like ruler period? Anyways, my point being that I got my period.
I get the whole
and I wanted to stay home because I was like, what is this? Like, what's going on with me? And I had learned about it in sex ed at school. But, it's like in one ear and out the other, whatever.
Yeah, you're not putting attention.
My mom never like sat me down and told me this was going to happen to me or what age she got it at or anything like that. And so this happens to me and she's like, oh yeah, it's perfectly normal. I'm like, I'm not okay. Like, I don't feel good. Like, this is super embarrassing. Oh, no, you still have to go to school. She takes me to school and she tells my teacher in front of the whole class why I'm late. I'm like, could I be any more embarrassed? Like, I'm sitting at the back of the class and I can still hear my mom talking to the teacher in the front of the room, explaining why I'm late. I'm like covering my face. I wanted to just disappear. And of course, all my friends in junior high, oh, girl, you just got it, making fun of me. Like, it was just the worst experience.
Making fun of you? Why? Because you got it before them or way after them?
Some of them acted like they'd already had it. Others were like, oh, I can't believe you got it already. It was both. But it didn't matter because all the boys also heard it. You know what I mean? It was just like the most embarrassing.
Well, if you were 10, I'm pretty sure the boys didn't know.
I mean, I'm sure it could have been more embarrassing with me having gotten it at school.
Oh, shit.
But the fact that my mom told the teacher in front of the whole classroom why I was late, I just wanted to disappear. Oh. And I promised that I would not do that to my daughters. And the girls know, like, our daughters are 7 and 5 years old. They know that mom every month bleeds and they understand.
And she doesn't die.
And I don't die. And and I've explained to them that this is something that's going to happen to them at some point. And it's natural. It's just part of being a woman.
So you already prepped them? Like, you already give them a heads up?
Yes, because they see me and they ask. They'll be like, Mom.
Yeah, that's
true. It's like I have privacy in the bathroom.
I remember my sister, too. My sister and... like, there were times when they were like, hey, can you bring me one of those pad things? And then I was like, all right. And then they would laugh because one day they were like, do you know what those things are? I was like, yeah, you guys put them right here. And, and I like grab my hand and cradle it around my crotch area. Like, you guys put them like this.
Like and a diaper.
Yeah, and they just laugh. Like, this little punk already knows how
they go.
But I didn't know
what they were for.
I just thought they didn't know how to wipe their ass, and it's like I wasn't sure what was going on.
Well, see, the girls, I tell them they're my blood diapers. So they're like, it's time for, I'm bleeding right now. I need my blood diapers. So the girls, yeah, it's disgusting. But there's things you guys do that are disgusting too. But
everything is disgusting.
I do not want our daughters to get theirs and be completely clueless as to what the heck this is. Like, this is as disgusting and embarrassing as it is to experience. It's still a part of being a female. It's part of being a woman. It's part of being a girl.
Don't parents ever think about embarrassing their kids, or do they think about embarrassing their kids on purpose? Like, what the fuck was your mom thinking about going in front of class? And telling everyone. To her, it was something very natural, and my teacher was a female, and
but it's
something very private.
But my mom is not a private person. Like, as much
as she is?
She says she is. If my mom was so private, she wouldn't have gone to freaking Hawaii on vacation and given my picture to random people and told them that I was going to go to BYU Hawaii. Like, I was like, why would you give my picture to random people and tell them something that wasn't even confirmed? Like,
see, under the rock.
But that's what I'm saying is, like, my mom is that type of person. She just says things.
Well, thank you for the spank material, ma'am. Appreciate it.
She doesn't think about.
Were you wearing clothes or a bathing suit at least, or something?
A see-through outfit, like.
Oh, so your mom was giving away free porn.
It was like
before OnlyFans.
This pant, like the picture. I even asked her, like, "What picture were you carrying around with you that you gave to strangers in Hawaii?" It was it was like a summertime outfit. It was like I think the pants were like that gauze kind of see-through gauze
Oh man,
pants.
this shit's getting
Oh
worse.
my gosh. I don't know what she was thinking. I honestly don't know what she was thinking.
I never heard this story.
I don't know if it's her. She's proud of me. I don't know. She just thinks I'm the most beautiful thing. I don't know what she was thinking back then, but to her, she would talk about me and give my picture to people, and it was just super.
Some random person out there
people.
is going through some box in their storage, and their wife is like, "Who's this bitch right here?
Right?
Some little girlfriend you had from way back when."
Right? Anyways.
Oh,
But I'm saying this is the type of stuff my mom did to me growing up. And she didn't do it maliciously. Like you're asking if parents do this on purpose. I don't think she did this maliciously. It's just who she is. She just says things and she doesn't think about the consequences of what she says. So this is part of her privilege though, right? For being raised an aristocratic lifestyle. So, I mean, what do they say? The rich say what they want. They don't think about anything.
I don't know.
Or anybody.
I don't think that works. But all right.
No, it doesn't work, but that's what they do.
No, I don't think. No, that's not what happens. Because look at one rich person that we see on TV all the time that everybody hates him for saying what he thinks.
Well, I understand, but my mom.
So yeah.
Okay, so my mom is one of those people, or was one of those people. So, anyways, back to this story. The fact that I am prepping our daughters because I want them to understand what's going to happen to them. And so me going through that,
so
I was a mess.
So what about your brothers? Did you explain to your brothers what was going on?
No, I was embarrassed. I mean, they figured it out at some point.
Was there a code for whenever you got your visitor, your comadre every month? Like, did you have a code with your mom?
You know what? I don't think I've ever talked about this with my brother.
Like baseball signs and stuff? Like, Mom.
No, none of that. It was literally not something we talked about. It's just something that happens.
But you guys were so open about everything. Like,
this is just something that happens to girls and you just deal with it. It wasn't a topic of conversation.
So my sisters always, like, between them, they just say, la comadre's here. And then, we'll be like, eventually we knew what was up when they said la comadre, so it's, I think anybody.
And you have a lot of sisters.
Oh, yeah, no. And you want to talk about, you're saying that your mom's very open. Your mom got shit on my sisters, man. They literally corrupted me. Not in a bad way. They just, they train me like, hey, sometimes, like, okay, she gets like miserable cramps, all right? She's going to cry. She's going to stay in bed. She's going to toss and turn. She gets that. You better get her a cup of ice and a bag of ice because she likes to put it on her stomach. Yeah. And it's like she likes to chew on ice and she likes to have an ice pack on her stomach. And she's just going to be in bed for like the first day. And I was like, oh, crap. It was like me. I am like a total bitch. I'm in a bad mood. I'm angry. Everything pisses me off. Everything's wrong. Like, just don't talk to me. Like, nobody talks to me.
And now, is it just for one day or is it like days leading up to it?
Do
you remember
that one though? The one that had like the shitty attitude. That was like it lasted like 3 days. Easy. Maybe it was like a day before and 2 days after it started. Yeah. And one of them was like, whatever.
Learned when it was happening.
Yeah, she was like, I just want to eat. Just want to eat. Give me some ice cream.
Yeah.
Give me some food. I'm fine. I was like.
And your other sister, she never talked about it.
Now, see, and that was the difference. So I'm talking about, those were my sisters from my
your dad's side.
Now, my mom's side sister, she was quiet. She
kept it to herself, right? None of your business.
That's a woman thing that you don't need to know. You know? And that was it.
That was it. What about when you were in high school? What about middle school?
What about middle school?
The girls, that's when girls start to get this. Goodness. That's what this movie's about.
You said that it was crazy because, you start making friends and there's like little cliques of friends and everything, right? And then you start, some girls start changing. Body starts changing, obviously, right? Mm-hmm. That's one of the things. Like once they get their period, they start turning into women, obviously, but some of them like will stop being friends. They just start like alienate themselves from the boys and just wanted to hang around girls, and no more hanging around with the mixed group or whatever. You know, it's just it was like they'll be on their own with another 2 girls or 3 girls, right?
Probably girls that have already gone through it.
Right. So now that you say that, I think
but you
about
guys
that.
had no idea why.
No. Of course not. We were like you said. You know, you get that class in school and you don't know what's going on. They teach you something. You watch a video of somebody having a kid, and you know there's drawings of reproductive systems for males and females or whatever.
But it's in one ear and out the other. You're like,
yeah, you kind of half-ass listen, and at the same time,
or giggling the whole time.
No. To me, it was more like maybe I learned a little bit, but like I said, my sisters were always kind of open, and they always explain stuff. Like when one of my sisters was pregnant, she explained like what happens and everything. Like they were having the sex talks because there were so many of us little kids there that it was like.
Oh, so they were prepping you guys too.
Yeah, I guess. Well, I'm saying little kids, we weren't freaking 4 or 5 years old. But,
I mean, our daughters are obsessed with how babies are born.
But you're talking about middle school. Yeah, there was a lot of weird stuff. I do remember this one story, though. I think I want to say 8th grade. So I had to been like 12, 13, maybe 7th grade.
Yeah, usually 13.
And we had like a recess, like a break, kind of like lunch. I guess it was lunch. And it's when we started. It was junior high and in between periods and whatever not. But there was this one friend who was kind of like moved over to some benches, all right? And we were all kind of kicking it around this one table. But she went to this benches to get a jacket or her backpack. I don't know, whatever it was. But I remember that she was wearing white Levi's. And she bent down to grab it. And so most of the people, I'm kind of like you and me, we're face to face, right? So I'm in my position like this, and I'm looking straight. She's over there. She's bending over. And all the people were kind of around from our group. We're like in a circle. But there was, 1 or 2 people next to me that were looking in that direction. And when she bent over, I guess she got her period. I didn't see it.
Oh, okay.
But I got my eyes covered. Like one of the persons that was
someone
next to
covered
me,
you,
like went to cover my eyes. And then the other person was a female, and she ran to let her know, to like get behind her and cover her and be like, "Yo, you just got your period. Like we need to, it came through your pants." And so she looked back, and the hands were off, and she looked at me and literally looked at me, she had this face, and I just made like a weird face.
So she thought you saw?
Yes, she thought I saw her stain herself, and she started crying, and they took her to the bathroom, and they were like, "Oh, what's going on?" So at that time, I always wore like a flannel around my waist or a hoodie sweater because it was already warm. And somebody said, "Can I borrow your flannel?" And I was like, "Sure." I think I was wearing a red flannel that all the things, and I was like, "All right, yeah, sure. Like here you go." And I guess they just kind of used it for her to wrap it, and she went to the bathroom. Yeah. And we didn't see her for the rest of the day, so we're like, "What happened?" And so everybody kept on looking at me weird
because they assumed you saw it, but it was because they covered your eyes and you had no idea why.
No, I thought it was weird because I thought they caught me looking at her ass. So I was like, it was one of those, like she bent over, you kind of like look over. I was like, "Oh, booty," but yeah, but it was.
You thought the friends were helping her.
Yeah, they thought, but I wasn't, because if I was looking at her butt, I would have seen what happened, and it was just I was looking in that general direction. But I didn't see that.
Yeah.
And then it was until way later that they were talking about it. And we're like, "No, is that what happened?" Like, I didn't know, but I don't need the flannel. Keep it. I was like, no. Yeah, but I was like, I felt bad. I was like, "Oh, that's weird." Like that sucks. Like, that's embarrassing. I get it.
Well, my most embarrassing story I think was that one. Oh no, I have a super embarrassing one. I was already an adult.
Oh yes, I know which one you're talking about. When you were with your ex at that game.
Yes. We went. Okay, my ex and I. We went to a Laker game, and
boo.
And I went to get up, and I was wearing black pants that day, but it went through and it was on the seat. And there was a bunch of guys sitting behind us. And all I know is maneuvering off that seat and wiping the seat at the same time and going to the, oh my goodness. I had to buy a jacket. I had to get like an extra large so it would like cover all the way down. I went to the bathroom and that was the most embarrassing
they
thing
didn't
for
have
me.
sweats there that you could have bought instead of that?
I was wearing black pants, so you couldn't tell on the pants. It was just on the seat where I was sitting, you could totally tell if I hadn't cleaned it. So, but it was very embarrassing. That was my most embarrassing.
That is pretty weird.
Started at the Laker game.
Yeah,
and I missed a good chunk of it because I was in the bathroom. So that
well,
was
that's what you get for telling stories about your ex. So, you deserve that.
I wasn't even going to say it was my ex, but anyways, that was my most embarrassing story. But in going back to this movie, which was your concern, and trying to find out what's going on, like our sons have had experiences with their female friends starting this stage of life, you know.
Okay.
So our high schooler, he would tell me when he was in junior high, he would be so confused as to why the girls were acting a certain way and why they were being distant or why they were being moody. And I told him, buddy, they probably got their period and they're probably on their menstrual cycle. I told him, okay, some girls act like this, some girls act like that. You know, some girls are super moody. Some girls will get like, they'll be in a lot of pain. Some girls will be fine. Some girls will be like really shy and not want to be around anybody. So I let him know what to kind of expect from his friends and not to be mad at them, you know, for acting this way. It's just part of the changes. And so he learned, he's like, Mom, so-and-so is on her period because she keeps stealing all my food. So he would know that every month this one friend would be on her cycle because she would come and take all his food. And I'm like, why are you letting her take your food? Well, because I feel bad for her. I'm like, okay.
That's not bad. I'm glad he did that.
Yeah, he would let her eat his food. But then she got kind of demanding because she would expect him to bring her food from our house. Like,
oh, hell no.
He would take extra food to feed her. And I'd be like, dude, and it wasn't even his girlfriend. Like, it was just a friend, the one he called his cousin. Yeah. It was just a girl that he felt like she was like family. Like, that's how close they were. And he's like, she's like my cousin, Mom. It's like, I feel like I have to take care of her. I'm like, okay.
What cousins? Third cousins? Four cousins?
I don't know. It's
La prima
just,
se me rima.
that's what he told
La
me.
prima se me rima.
Yeah. And then now our 11-year-old is starting to enter that phase. And so when at his last school, he had this really close friend. And they were best of buds. And it was a female. And all of a sudden, she stopped talking to him and being mean to him. And he was completely heartbroken. He's like, Mom, I don't understand why she's treating me like this. I don't know why she's acting like this. And I'm like, oh, buddy, I think her body is changing. And I started to explain to him what was going on. And he's like, ew. He's like, that's gross. I go, it happens to all girls.
I gotta give credit. You're making me think about something, and I just realized that when I lived with my stepmom, one of my stepmoms, at the time, one of her granddaughters lived with us, and she was a couple years older than me. I want to say 4 years older than me. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of jokes that I, being a boy, was not aware of how this worked for women. Like, I had the ideas from my sisters or whatever not, but it wasn't the same, you know, because I didn't live with them. I was just, they were like visitors because they were way older than me.
Yeah.
But this person actually lived with me, and we were roommates. And right now you say that, I do remember that when she would be in that cycle, we would fight. Like, we will argue over everything.
Now, was she arguing with you, or were you feeling it?
She was very snippety and very... you never knew what it was going to be. Every time it was different. So one, she would want to... Like, say 1 month she wanted to fight. Another month she was like my best friend. Another month she hated me. Another month, she was very emotional. Like if even I raised my voice or I made one of my crude jokes, she would cry. I think one of those many months, she actually said she was gonna leave because I said something that hurt her feelings. So she felt like I wasn't welcome at the house anymore, and she wanted to leave. It was weird. I think we lived together. She lived with us for about a year and a half, maybe 2.
Okay.
I don't think 2, but somewhere between them, a year and a half.
So again, it's
there was
extremely emotional time.
But there
for
were
girls.
jokes, and then I remember, like she was like, "Oh, pick me up, give me a ride," and I was like, "No, you'll fucking eat me," It's like the thing's gonna eat me. And she's like, "No, pendejo, it doesn't work like that."
Oh, I know. You always used, even when we were dating, you're all like, I've always been told not to trust anything that bleeds for 7 days without dying, or more than 3 days without dying. And so the point of the movie is I never took it as woke agenda. If it is woke agenda, I never took it that way because I think it's important for girls to know about it. I think it's cute that they covered it as a red panda for younger kids who don't understand and who don't need to understand. Like you said, they don't talk about it the whole movie. It's mentioned a couple times at the beginning, but the rest of the time, it's just about red panda, a little girl who gets emotional, and the red panda comes out and she can't control it.
It's kind of one of those. All right, so this girl gets to be a red panda. What about everybody else? How come nobody else gets to be another animal?
Maybe in this particular family, because the movie's about them, the emotions run so deep and so strongly and out of control, which is represented by how big their pandas are, that they have to take extra precautions to learn how to control this big emotion to be able to live a normal life.
But they're talking about, you can give this out. You can give this power away on whatever moon or whatever, right? On the next red moon. I think it was something like that. You can get rid of it. And that's all
part of the curse.
Okay. But so then some women can, go without this. Like, what is that? What does that mean? Like, what are you giving up? If you're saying you can get rid of your red panda, but then the whole time red panda is supposed to mean part of that cycle, right?
But they're not giving up the red panda. They're controlling the red panda. They're not giving it up because the panda is still with them.
No, they can never turn into pandas again.
Yes, they can.
No, they can't.
That's why they have the amulets with them. The amulets are what's holding the rage, the out of control emotion is being held in the amulet.
Yeah, that's so dumb.
It's dumb to you, but to others, to a woman, to me,
how do you control your rage? Do you have an amulet?
I don't get rage,
did your family do it?
I'm not that type of person. Like, I don't go through those type of emotions.
But all the women in that family did it.
In that family.
All women go through it.
No, in that family. Like you were saying, why them and not everybody else? Because we're concentrating on this particular family in this movie. We're not talking about her friends. Maybe her friends haven't gotten it yet. Maybe they have, and their families have already figured it out. I think none of that is covered.
I think their friends already got it because they were all drooling over that guy at the convenience store.
There you go. I mean, but their families dealt with it differently. Maybe their emotions aren't as big as hers and her families. There are, there's women, like you said, your dad's side of the family, big emotion, right? Especially when it came to that, one wasn't always in pain, the other one was in super bad mood, and the other one was super hungry. Whereas your other sister on your mom's side, quiet, kept it to herself. She didn't show the emotion.
Wouldn't go that far.
I mean, maybe she showed the emotion, but you didn't know why she was showing it. If she was being emotional, did you know that that's why?
Eventually, I guess that's what it was.
Well, okay. Well, that came
because
with time.
I was one of those stupid guys that whenever, I got pissed off and they were acting like that, I was like, "What's wrong with you? You PMSing or something?" It was like, "Pendejo," and she'll throw something at me or something.
And then you know. Yeah. Well, but that's what I'm saying. Like, even from within your friend circle, every girl deals with it differently. And I mean, this movie has been controversial because, like you said, people want to nitpick what movies are about, and this is appropriate for children. This isn't appropriate for children. You as a parent need to make that decision. Like, if you're the type of parent who wants their child to understand what this movie's about, you're going to explain it to them. You're going to be like, okay, this is what's going on with the little girl. This is why this is happening. But if you're just watching it to enjoy it, you're not going to say a thing. And if your child is very young, they're not even going to ask because they don't understand, right? I didn't understand. I would have never asked these questions. I would have never wanted to know, what does that mean? Or why are they turning into panda? I would have just thought, oh, how cute. It's a panda. She gets to turn into, I want to turn into a panda.
Yeah. Everybody loves red pandas.
Yeah. So it's people being worried about.
I mean, have you ever seen a red panda?
They're so adorable.
They're fucking cute as
But
hell.
that's what I'm saying. It's like people.
That girl wasn't cute.
People getting mad over what this movie's about and saying that it's inappropriate for children. It's only inappropriate for children if they ask the question and you don't want to explain it.
Here's a picture of my daughter. She already got her red panda.
I mean, maybe if they were trying to marry her off.
I was making fun of you.
Of me? Shut up. My mom didn't do that. Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyways, I mean, I don't know what else you want to talk about on this movie.
How are you gonna handle when like, okay, so you had a horrible first experience.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, that is pretty embarrassing. My friend also had a pretty messed up one. Because I mean, shit, white jeans, you know.
Yeah.
Like, damn. I don't think anybody's ever talked about. Like, I think for the people, the times that I was around, like nieces or when they got there, so they were all at home, so that kind of worked out for them.
I mean, I was home too, but my mom made me go to school. I'm not going to make the girls go to school.
No, I can honestly say that my nieces did not go to school on the first day.
Lucky them.
Yeah.
No. Hopefully,
yeah, definitely.
Hopefully, our daughters won't get it at school, and if they do, I'll go get them and pick them up and bring them home. If they get it when they're home, I'm not sending them to school. And people might disagree with that and be like, "Oh, well."
No, the first time your body, like, it's gotta be a crazy experience.
And
like, your body might take it different. You know,
yeah.
Like we said, cramps.
I don't know if they're gonna have bad cramps. I don't know. Yeah, how emotional they're gonna be. I don't know. And then if they're gonna be at school crying, you know, I don't know how they're gonna react. And
so. Yeah, no.
Better that they're home at least on the first day, and then once we get through the first day, they understand that okay. You
remember
need to go to school
I sent
now.
you that joke where the dad's talking about his daughter got her period, and then she got it like on Friday the 13th, and she named it Jason.
Oh, the menstrual period parties.
Yeah,
the period parties. Yeah,
are we gonna do that?
I am not planning a period party.
I'm planning a period party.
Oh, why would you do a period party?
It'd be hilarious. No, I'm not. I'm not planning it. It's up to them if they want it.
I'm not even bringing it up as an option. Like, why would you have a period
that was
party?
a great story, though. That's a great stand-up joke.
Yes, I agree that story was funny because she named it Jason and she had her party on Friday the 13th.
No, she got her period.
Oh, she got her period on Friday the 13th. But, I mean, as far as our daughters are concerned, they know what it is. Do they completely comprehend? No,
of course
most
not.
likely not. They're only 7 and 5. They just know that mommy bleeds every month. I've also told them that it'll stop someday. I told them one day this is going to stop. I won't bleed anymore. I go, grandma doesn't bleed anymore. I said, and one day mommy's not going to bleed anymore. And I've also explained to them what that means, that mommy won't be able to have babies anymore. They don't need to understand it at this point, but I don't believe I'm corrupting them because it's a natural part of being a female, of being a woman, of turning into a woman. And
so yeah,
there shouldn't be shame in it.
No, yeah, and in a way, you know, some people might say it's too soon, but it's a good thing. Like you said, they already have a basic idea and they know what to expect, and it won't be like you said that it just came out of nowhere and it blindsided you and you were scared. And I mean, that's heavy stuff. Like you're right. Like that would suck. That, you know, imagine if I'm a boy and I go to the bathroom one day and I get up and, you know, I was like, oh, why am I bleeding? You know, it's like, what the crap? I mean, like, well, for men, automatically, it's like, I'm dying.
Yeah.
You know?
No, if you do, if a man does bleed from
but I'm
any
talking
of his
about-
orifices, he's
exactly.
dying.
I'm dying. But like, if men got menstrual periods, right?
Yeah.
Like, we would think that. So, of course, a little girl's gonna think the same thing. Like, am I dying? Like, if they've never had a conversation or an idea about it, so it wouldn't hurt to kind of bring it up to them or let them know, or like, do you know why mommy, asks you where's these little,
But
pads,
there's a lot of people in this world who keep things from their children.
Yeah, but see, I think that's kind of fucked up because like they shouldn't, right? Like, especially now because like they have so much crap that they're trying to throw to the kids at school. Especially
Better they
in
hear it
public
from
school.
you.
Yeah, like learn it from your parents, right?
Yeah.
If they're trying to confuse kids with pronouns and all these other freaking
Whatever
you want to call titles, like, why can't you teach them about this? Like, why is it wrong, right? It shouldn't be wrong. This is natural.
I think
this is something that's been happening for a millennia to women that,
from the inception of us.
Yeah.
And even animals bleed. Like, how do you explain your female dog bleeding every month? Have your kids not ever noticed the blood spots on the floor? Or
maybe that's another reason why they. Well, and it's crazy because they're neutered. Even neutered, they still
bleed.
get it. Yeah.
It is part of being a female. It's part of being, whether you're a female dog, a female cat, a female badger, a human, female human. Like, it is just part of being a female.
It's part of the reproductive system.
It's part of the reproductive system for mammals. We bleed once a month for as long as we can have babies. That's it. And then when we can't have babies anymore, we stop bleeding. Right. And that's it. Our daughters are learning about this, and I just want to make sure that they're ready. Other parents don't have to agree with me. Do whatever you want. It's your kid.
Right.
For us and for me, I have no problem with this movie, and I am trying to make sure our girls are prepared.
I didn't have a problem with it. It's just, I kept on hearing all this stuff, and I was just trying to watch it, and but I'm a guy. I'm a guy. What do I know, right?
Yeah.
But for me, it's like, okay, they kind of covered it, but I didn't take the red panda as representing that. I took it as a family curse, and
that's
they turned into
perfectly
pandas.
fine. And that's all it needs to be for little kids. For a 5-year-old, that's all it needs
right?
to be.
So yeah,
for a 4-year-old, that's all it needs to be.
But I just saw so much people, so much hate, so much opinion, so much, and I was like, oh.
So
am I wrong for thinking this? Or
I found a few things on, you just Google it. It just says, is turning red about periods, right? And it comes up with all these different things. So what does turning red represent? She said that they were unapologetic about the discussion of these topics in the film. The title Turning Red is an allegory for menstruation. The color red also reflects other feelings experienced by teenagers, according to she, such as embarrassment or lust. So when there's red, or she's a red panda, she might not necessarily be menstruating. She can't shut off that emotion, right? Why shouldn't kids watch Turning Red? In addition to the violent scenes mentioned above, Turning Red has some scenes that could scare or disturb children under 5 years old. For example, there are numerous transformation scenes. Most aren't scary, but occasionally May's inner panda gets angry. Okay, now that's a different subject. Kids need to learn how to deal with emotion, and seeing other people get angry and resolve that anger is healthy. There's nothing wrong with that. My opinion, why do parents dislike Turning Red? A scene from the new Pixar film, Turning Red. Parents are leaving negative reviews for Pixar's newest animated film, Turning Red, many complaining about the film's inclusion of themes such as puberty, saying the subjects are too mature for children.
But kissing and being a damsel in distress and waiting for a prince to come rescue them, that's okay?
That's excellent. So it's okay to teach your kids, your daughters, to wait for Prince Charming, who's going to kiss you and sweep you off your feet. That's not,
marry a stranger.
And marry a stranger, someone you've literally never met before, but because he kissed you, now you have to marry him, right?
Right. Yeah. Yes, girls.
He's the one.
Yeah.
He's the one because he kissed you.
Yeah,
you hear me?
That's it. Done.
But talking about a real thing, that actually happens to most young ladies is not okay. Again, nitpicking. And we're living in a society of censorship. Everything is censored. I mean, actually, technically, TV's been censored for a really long time. But, I mean, we're censoring the wrong things.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, so you can go through Google and you can just look up, what is this about? And you'll find all these different articles on what people's opinion or our different articles have to say about the inappropriateness of this.
Well, I guess thank you for clarifying that for me then. And explaining. Mansplaining. Womansplaining this.
Now, I don't know if the panda is her period. I do believe, though, that it is a representation of her emotions and her inability to control those emotions, which is why at the end, when she's like, it's, my panda, my choice or whatever she says to her mom, it's her kind of controlling her emotions, kind of reining in a little bit of her teen attitude or her tween attitude, but still trying to be herself. Anyways.
Gotcha.
Got it? So, I mean, I'm really hoping that our daughters will be super chill, cross my fingers, cross everything on my body.
Nope.
And they
You're
will
not getting
be
that.
chill.
Nope.
I'm feeling like I get so much attitude now that it'll be out of her system by the time, I'm talking about our 7-year-old, that it'll be out of her system by the time she's that age. Versus like, I was a really chill little girl, but I was a feisty teenager. So I'm hoping because she's feisty now that she'll be chill.
Oh, sorry.
then.
You think you're not feisty anymore?
No, I'm talking about when I was going through puberty. Like the difference between being a little girl, being 5 to 7 years old, versus being a teenager. I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about the difference between me as a little girl versus me as a teenager.
I don't see a difference of you as a teenager and you now.
I'm not talking about me now. I was talking about me as a little girl.
Yeah, I know. You say you were nice and mellow as a little girl.
As a teenager. When I started puberty and the feistiness that came up. I'm just saying, I hope
it's still there till this day.
Okay, I'm not arguing that. I am saying I hope our daughter, because she's feisty at a young age, will grow out of it and be chill when she's older.
No.
I can wish and I can hope.
You won't be that lucky.
And I can cross my fingers.
I won't be that lucky.
You are going to be in your 50s with 3 women at home, 1 going through menopause and 2 going through puberty.
You think I'm going to be home.
I was thinking about this the other day, actually. I was like, man, I think we might end up with a divorce. We're going to end up with a divorce during our 50s because I'm going to be going through menopause and both our girls are going to be going through puberty when we're in our 50s.
Yeah, right.
And
high probability. Yeah.
I was like, there is no way he's going to last. And our boys will both be gone. Yeah, there's no way. No way.
I don't know.
Good luck, honey.
I don't know.
Good luck.
I don't know. It's going to be expensive. Either way. No, it's going to be expensive.
Oh, man. Well.
I'm about to fight with somebody on a regular, and I think it's going to be you. Because you're going to be like, why are you doing this for them? And why are you doing that? And
why? Because you're going to be giving in to every single one of their whims just to keep them happy during their pubescent stage.
That's what that's doing. Yeah.
No. Yeah, we will be fighting then. Yeah. Okay, everybody. Understand. We may be getting a divorce when I'm in my 50s. When we're in our 50s.
We made it this far. It was a good run.
It's a good run.
Just accept it.
I mean, any of our listeners who have been through this already and made it, or have you all gotten divorced?
Shit. Do you know how many people got divorced during the pandemic? And you want them to make it through puberty? That's even harder.
Through puberty and menopause.
Puberty
and menopause at the same time.
You kidding me? Is you for reals?
It's me for reals, yeah. So one question before we sign off. do men go through PMS? Do
Oh,
you
yeah.
believe that men go
no,
through
yeah,
PMS?
for sure.
Now, is it
It's called MSO.
what is it called?
MSO.
What is that?
Major sperm overdose.
So, like the different levels of testosterone.
No, it's just we had too much on our system that we need to release it, and that's when we
And
start
you
getting
get-
cranky.
Now, what about
Have you ever noticed that
you're super cranky if you don't get any?
Yeah,
I've noticed.
exactly, right? It's just like we have too much testosterone going on.
Now,
and then it's just like.
but isn't that why they say men are supposed to work out?
Yeah, go to the gym, but that makes it worse because you're producing more testosterone as you're working
I guess
out.
that's true.
You're getting a pump. Like, do you know what a pump is?
I
It's blood
remember.
flow. Yeah.
I know when you used to go to the gym, it sucked for me.
Yeah, I was a caveman. I come with like, wake up.
Well,
Ugga.
what about sympathetic PMS? Like I've heard this term of sympathy PMS or sympathetic PMS, where like
You talking about post nut syndrome?
I have PMS, not PNS.
I don't know what you're talking about. What did you say? Like getting emotional?
No,
or?
like sympathetic. Like if when your partner or the women around you are about to go through it.
I don't know about that one, but I will tell you one thing. I have noticed recently that I get a lot of freaking cravings when you're going through it.
Well, and I know that when I was pregnant with all our kids, you had crazy you had the motion sickness and the I'm sorry, you had the morning sickness and you aversions to bananas and you had all these things that I wasn't having, but you were going through them. So I think, yes, sympathy PMS could be a thing. Actually, there's an article, I guess, that I found that says that nearly a quarter of men admit to experiencing this every month. And I haven't read the full article, but I imagine if you've got females in your life that are close to you, daughters, wife, girlfriends that are with you on a regular basis, that certain men may be more susceptible to their energy. I don't know how else to explain it.
Pinches tóxicos.
Tóxicos, not tóxicas.
Well, both of them, tóxicos and tóxicas.
Well, that's just how connected.
So much time together that they, women get in sync, right?
Yeah.
They sync up. And if the man's always with the woman, and if he goes through that, it's because they're spending too much time together.
Oh, we spend too much time together, babe.
Do we? I don't
because
think
I've
so.
also noticed in the last couple months that when I'm PMSing, you have no patience with me whatsoever. And my PMSing I'm not even mad at you. I might be fighting with my mom and you're mad at me for fighting with my mom.
No, that's just called being a man. Like, that's just being a guy.
But the rest of the time you're quiet. And when I'm going through whatever, you're very vocal.
Oh, I'll keep an eye out for that one next one. Yeah,
I'm noticing that.
But you know what? I mean,
and my mom too. My mom's fights with me also. She says it's me, but I've noticed even though she's already gone through menopause, when I'm coming into my cycle, that's when she's super judgy. And then of course, I'm not trying to deal with it. I'm like, why are you judging me so much right now? And I'm feeling like it's all correlated.
It could be part of you, right? It could be part of you because you just feel like everybody's out
to get
you.
It could be me feeling like everyone's out to get me, but
it could be just us being ourselves. But you're so
maybe it could be, but
it could be. You're right, or maybe you're right. Maybe we're all kind of picking up something, and
you're all PMSing
like you said,
with me.
Yeah, you're being emotional, and one's being judgmental, and one's being short fused.
Yeah, I feel like it's like that, but it could be me. Anyways,
I don't know if somebody let us know. Let us know how it is for you guys.
I don't know the science behind it. Ladies, I haven't researched all that.
Does your husband get side effects with you? Like, does your husband act different when you're?
Do you fight more with your mother or other females in your family?
Yeah, does your husband turn into a sensitive little bitch when you're PMSing? You're just so angry. So stop being so sensitive. Or is it the other way around?
Yeah,
Are you the sensitive one and he turns into the ogre, I'm an ogre.
Yeah. Could be. Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens with our boys and the females in their lives.
Do you turn into Ike Turner and she turns into Tina Turner? I don't know,
So wrong.
Does he start serenading you with music in the mornings? Do people serenade anymore? That's how old I am now.
Is that all you wanted to cover?
Yeah, that's good. We're good. Yeah, no, thank you.
We're good? Okay.
Yeah, thank you for indulging me and explaining to me the movie and the point of view. To me, it's just a movie. But like I said, I'm a man. I don't know what women go through when they get, they're in their cycle. And I think I hear the stories. I will never know that. So to me, it was just a cartoon that I watched and once with my kids. And then all this stuff keeps on coming up, and I hear it, and and then I was like, I think people are overanalyzing it. But now that you also are saying that, it's connected, it's part of the emotions of the roller coaster of feelings that go through, women during this moment in their lives, the first experience. So
yeah. Well, again, thank you for listening once again, and you guys have a great rest of your week until next time you hear us.
All right, everybody. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.